Hi everyone, how are you doing? Welcome back to my channel. And today we're going to do what I read in July book read through, I guess, something of sorts. So I hope you have a little drink with yourself. I have an iced tea because we need to feel hydrated while talking. So let's start. The first book, I have a little post-it note here so I don't forget what I read, which isn't really that hard because I didn't read that many books. But a book is a book, so... Okay, so the first book I read was the Kiss Quotient by Helen Huang, and I gave this book like 3 stars. So, this book talks about Stella and Michael, and Stella has Asperger's. How do you... Asperger's? I can just say that, yeah. She has Asperger's. And she works in an office. She's very thorough with her work. She always does the same thing basically over and over again in her work environment. But she likes a person in our office and she's like, well, I've never dated anyone. I've never had like any type of sexual thing going on with me, so I'm going to... she's like, I've had some sexual interaction with other men, but it's never enjoyable, and they always treat her like trash, right on, like from the start. And she's like, okay, I'm going on a dating app, and I'm gonna try to find a guy who's nice, and who will treat me good, so that I can pass this sexual learning to the guy I like in my office. And she does that. They meet up, she meets Michael, who's the other main character, and he's like, I don't do this often, I don't meet up with clients like more than once, and they do end up meeting more than once, and it evolves into a really weird relationship because he doesn't know she's autistic, so he's just like, well, why are you so weird with certain things? That's what I felt while reading this book. Sorry if I look sometimes over there, my PC is updating. But it was a nice read. I just feel like there were certain things that weren't met in this book, and how I know that the author was diagnosed with autism while working on this book, because she was trying to learn a lot of things so she could put in her book, and she was like, oh, well, this is a lot like me, so that's what happened. But I don't know, I just felt like something was missing. The whole story is really nice, it's well written, but it's overall just like, yeah, it was a quick read. Some things didn't really match up, and were either going too fast or too slow. But hey, that's what happens with a lot of romance books. I really like how the author wrote it, and I'm probably gonna read a lot more of her works. But the Kiss Quotient, I was like having a bit of like the love hypothesis and stuff like Ali Hazelwood writes. And because a lot of people say, oh, if you like this book from Ali, you should read this one. And I was like, okay, I'll give this one a try. And it's nice, but it's not really into the STEMinist type of thing. So that was my first read, and I gave it 3 stars. The rest of the reads I had are not in physical form. I read it in my e-reader. And the next one doesn't need any presentation. It's The Stranger by Camus, however you want to call it, Albert Camus, and I gave it 4 stars. So, this book took me a long time to go through, because at first I was only reading it, but then I found the audiobook and I was like, okay, let's give it a try, and I finished it in like a night. So, in my review, I just said that the book is really focused on how this man doesn't give any type of like emotion to other things and other people, and he's very like numb to certain things, and a lot of people are really mad about it, and he ends up doing something he shouldn't have done. And I'm not going into spoiler zones because this book, everyone should read this book at least once. And after he does that bad thing, people are like, you should believe in God, and God will help you, and God will heal all other things. And I know this is a philosophical type of book, so there are certain things I was like, something isn't really matching up, I'm not really feeling it. At the end of the book, you're expecting for something like different to happen, for like I'm gonna say spoiler now. I did say no spoilers, but I'm just gonna say the spoiler. So skip to this time zone, to this time part. Skip to this time so that you don't get spoiled. But at the end of the book, not at the end, but at the middle part of the book, he goes to prison and he's given a death sentence. Problem. I was thinking like, okay, maybe, just maybe, he's not gonna die. Something is gonna happen at the end of the book that's gonna like make things, make him not die. And the book, it doesn't really end on a cliffhanger, but it ends like, you know that he's finally showing emotions about everything that's going on in his life, and he's just like, yeah, this happened, I did this, I didn't grieve, I didn't do certain things, but you can't blame God, and I'm not gonna believe in God just because of it. And the book ends there. We don't know if he dies. I'm not sure if we know if he dies or not. I read this like almost a month ago. I read it in the beginning of July, and it's, if you see the time I post this, it's August. So yeah, I don't really remember how it ends, but I'm pretty sure you don't see it end for him. You don't see it like writing. It just, you need to know it happens. So that's why it wasn't really a 5-star review, and I wasn't really feeling it that much. But it's definitely like a 3.5, 4 stars review. Review, because the book is that good, and if you know like how to interpret how certain things are said in the book, it's a really enjoyable read. Audio. It's a really enjoyable audio. Not read. I did not enjoy reading it, but I did enjoy listening to it. And I didn't really read that many books, but I did read 5. And the last 3 books I read are actually from a trilogy. They're a graphic novel trilogy called Cheats by Brennan Tumblr. So the first book is called Sheets, and it revolves around a girl who's in middle school. This is a graphic novel, by the way, so it's really you can read it really fast, but each book has around like 300 pages, so that's quite a lot actually for a graphic novel. And it revolves around a girl, which I don't remember the name, so I'll put it here. And she's in middle school. She lost her mom, and she doesn't believe in ghosts. But guess what? Ghosts do exist, and she ends up making like a really nice friendship with a ghost. And the first book is only about her and her ghost friend. Now the second, which is called Delicate. Wait. And I gave that book 4 stars. I can't forget to say how many stars I gave each book. So, the first book was 4 stars. The second one was 5 stars in my opinion. It touched a lot of topics like suicide, resentment, found family, things like that. And in the second book, she makes a new friend who has suicidal thoughts and does end up trying to kill herself. Um, and it has a lot of bullying involved, and the way the author drew and told the story was really it was really amazing, because if you've gone through something like that, you can actually understand how this character feels. And it was in middle school for her. She's like in a year she's going to the secondary school, she's going to high school, secondary. Speaking European, so she's going to high school, and there are some feelings that are happening, a lot of emotions, a lot of going into adolescence, and it's a lot happening. That's what I'm trying to say. So they go through a lot. They meet more ghosts. Her ghost friend is there to help both her and her other friend who's suffering from bullying, and due to that she wants to kill herself. But the book ends in a really amazing note, and I really liked that one. Unfortunately, wait, did I give it 4 stars? No, I didn't give it. No, okay. And the last book, which is called Lights, it hasn't come out yet. It's gonna come out in September, but Oni Press and Nesgali actually I requested to read the graphic novel since I was like speedrunning it, and they were nice enough to give me a copy so I could read it ahead of time. And so I'm not really gonna say any spoilers, but this last book revolves around the main character's ghost friend and the story of how he died. And it's really nice. I didn't quite enjoy this book that much because okay, so the books are focused more on the middle schooler, high schooler like age bubble. So there were certain parts in this book that made me feel a bit cringy. I'm not really sure why, just the way the characters were speaking, which is really weird because the second book was actually really amazing, and then this third book made me feel like, well, it really feels like I'm reading a story for like people who are like 15 and 16 or younger. So because of that, I had to give this book like I wrote here 4 stars. I'm not sure you can see that. That's fine. I wrote here 4 stars, but this book is 3.5 probably. I wrote a review in my Goodreads, so if you want, you can go and read it. But yeah, those were the books I read in July, and I'm really sorry I took so long to record this video, but I had to, as you can see, my room is a little bit different. I had to do a few changes. I have like, I don't have a big bed anymore, I have like a small bed just for me, because I don't need that much stuff. So yeah, I had to do some remodelation in my room, so I didn't have really enough time to record a new video. But yeah, I kind of have a setup going on here. It's not much, but it works for the current videos. I'm not sure if I'm gonna use this backdrop for any more like book of the month, that's a subscription, for any more what I read in a month video, but for now it works. So yeah, these are the books I read in July. I hope you like it. I'm gonna probably post pictures of books like as you, and please tune in for the next video. Bye.